all my people pleasers to the front. Recovering people pleasers, former people pleasers, current people pleasers. I'm going to need your perspective on this. Is self-expression worth making people uncomfortable? Welcome to Between the Feelsz, where the feels are friends, not our foes. I'm Stacey Maze. Let's have a yap. I just find that society tells you be yourself, be self-expressive, be honest, be authentic. And when you actually are those things, the same society punishes you. The same society tells you, no, we don't like that. That makes us uncomfortable. That makes us feel some type of way. Why are you like that? Why are you weird? And as someone that's a recovering people pleaser, you just get to the point where you realize that your authenticity isn't worth all the ag. It isn't worth all of the pushback. And then, so what do? You silence yourself, you suppress your true thoughts and feelings, you're looking out for other people's body language to anticipate whether you should say something or shouldn't say something. And it just becomes, that song and dance really just becomes mentally exhausting and emotionally exhausting. I want to explore the feels, let's explore the feels together. So I notice little like nuances in day-to-day lives where people find themselves wanted to say something but they don't necessarily feel like they can because they don't want to offend or they don't want to upset somebody. For examples, whenever I'm speaking to one of my girls, we could be having like a topic about something that's sensitive. Let's say, for example, like belief systems or faith or relationships, kids, marriage, all that sort of stuff. I can tell that there's something that's on the tip of their tongue, but they restrict themselves and they hold themselves back. And I'm like, no, babe, like say what it is that you have to say, like it's okay. And obviously for them, they say, oh no, like I don't want to like offend or I don't want to come across in this way. But I would actually rather you say what it is that's on your mind and we explore it and we debunk it together, rather than you feel like you couldn't say that because I might react in a certain way. As far as I'm concerned, this is a safe space. This is a safe space and you're free to be who you are, free to express yourself. That's not to say that I don't ever get offended or I don't ever get upset, but I accept that sometimes people are going to say things to me that might make me uncomfortable, but it doesn't mean that it came from a bad place. It doesn't mean that it was malicious. It just means that this is the perspective and I want to explore that and debunk that together. I find that the world that we live in doesn't know how to be uncomfortable. why do we why do we think that being uncomfortable is mutually exclusive with disrespect? It's mutually exclusive with rudeness. It's mutually exclusive with passive aggressiveness. So why can't I speak English? Why is the world and why does life set us up for failure when it comes to being uncomfortable? I feel that as a society, we do need to be better at just sitting in discomfort and accepting that just because this is something that makes us feel this way, it doesn't mean that this is something that the other person is doing to us or this is something that's necessarily happening. Sometimes we need to learn to adapt. We need to learn to adjust. We need to learn how to embrace and receive other people's perspectives that are different, like from our own. What would this life be if we all saw things in the same way? We wouldn't learn anything. We wouldn't grow anything. We wouldn't expand. We wouldn't have capacity. We wouldn't be able to get into fallouts. We wouldn't be able to experience, growing pains. Just all the things that life in its mess. I don't understand why when life gets messy, the first instance is to run. And for people like myself, and I know there's many of us out there that genuinely love to express ourselves, we realize many years later, oh my goodness, who am I? And it's because we look back and we're reminded of all of the instances where we were on our best behavior because we didn't want our authentic selves to rub somebody the wrong way, or we didn't want our authentic selves to disrupt the status quo. And I'm just like, bun that, man. Bun that. when you're left in that position for so long, you could be left feeling so self-critical, insecure, you could be fragile, you could be confused about who you are because you learned very early on you being authentic and you being you is an issue for us. It's an issue for this environment. So you need to adapt. Now, I'm not saying that we all don't need to adjust to social norms and obviously learn how to be a part of, community and social circles and social settings. But in that very same breath, I find that we're more taught to be who not to be, rather than to be who we are. Like in life, there is so much don't do this, don't do that, rather than, oh, I see this in you. Let's enrich that. Let's develop that. Let's grow that. Let's nurture that. I find that people that are thriving today, like many people that are thriving today, they come from homes and they come from backgrounds where their parents invested in their self-esteem, where their parents invested in their opinion, they invested in their confidence, and they're out there in the world. Honestly, some people don't have that much to say. They don't have that much substance. They don't have that much to offer. But because they know who they are, because they carry that with such conviction, they carry that with such confidence, they're a lot further along than people that do have more to say. And all power to them, because they're in the world and they get to know who they are. And so when I think about making other people uncomfortable, is it worth it? 100%. Because what do you gain in this life by constantly watering yourself down and behaving in a way that makes everybody else feel great? But then when you go home and you take off the mask, you're hurting. You feel rejected because you're rejecting yourself when you go out there. And I get it. Many of us are in positions where we have to conform because it's a way for us to feel safe. It's a way for us to feel like we belong. It's a way for us to feel, quote unquote, seen and recognized, even if it doesn't necessarily feel authentic. It's better to have this false sense of belonging than the reality of, wow, I feel rejected and nobody likes me for me. Many people would prefer to be liked for who they're playing up to be. But in the world that we live in, especially in this era of the internet and social media, that's why everyone niche. There is something out there, guys. When I mean there's a community for everyone and everything, it is out there. And if you can't find your community, create it, be it. Everybody is on social media for many different reasons. Be what it is that you want to see in the world if you haven't seen it yet. And it's a lot easier said than done, of course it is. But if this is something that is aching you, something that is paining you, something that leaves you feeling perplexed, oh, I want to be myself, but I don't want to make people feel some type of way. Listen, people, even when you are being a people pleaser, even when you are going out of your way to shapeshift and change your identity, people still don't like you. So at this point, you might as well be hated or be disliked for being exactly who you think you are. Many of us don't even have the time to grow into who we're supposed to be because it got mocked out of us, or we got ridiculed so young, or we got told, no, that doesn't work for me, that makes me uncomfortable. What kind of life is that? I don't want that for you. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for us. Listen, as someone that is fighting for my life, I'm like, guys, guys, don't let this fool you. I'm fighting for my life, showing up like this in this way to create evidence to prove to myself that I can express myself, and if that does make other people uncomfortable, it is what it is. I'm trying to find myself amongst the Feelsz, amongst this world, because I deserve to be here, and so I deserve to be here, and so do you. Hopefully I'm not coming across preachy because it's not that. It's just, you are absolutely worth it. You're absolutely worth it. And if that's difficult for you to believe right now in this moment, then I'm going to leave you with some self-reflective questions. Because one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to leave you with a question to self-reflect so it can enrich your emotional life, improve your emotional intelligence, your well-being, and just your growth overall. Let's get into the Feelsz. Is self-expression worth making myself uncomfortable if it makes me me? And the reason why I think that's a really good question is because we're so caught up on making other people uncomfortable that we don't sit with the fact that it's actually our own discomfort that's stopping us from being self-expressive, from living out loud and living in our truths. Sometimes other people really are just who they are, and we're so hung up on how we think they're going to perceive us that we don't even give ourselves the chance to even be disapproved, because that makes us, just the thought of that makes us so uncomfortable. And so I thought that was a really good question to be like, ooh, what parts of myself have I already given up to fit in? Last but not least, if I could live a life where no one was ever made uncomfortable by me, what parts of myself would have to disappear? Dun, dun, dun. So I think those are really good questions to sit down with. Remember, with these questions, you don't have to answer them all at once. You can take your time with them. You can go over them with a friend. If you feel like this video is for a friend or family member or loved one, then share it with them, break it down, chat shit, do whatever. But just get into the feels and just get into just talking about what is going on in our day-to-day lives and what we can do to improve them. So if you're feeling some type of way and you're in a little bit of a pickle, then send a message at Between the Feels on TikTok and Instagram, and I would love to support you in a future video. Okay, take care. Bye. Just remember, guys, we only have one life to live. One. That's it. We're not doing this again. Please, I really hope you find yourself before you leave this earth. It's not easy though. I'm not even gonna lie, guys. It's not easy. But just because it's not easy, it doesn't mean that it's simple. Look at me. Look at me with my little cards. I'm just expressing, guys, I'm here. Okay.